The American flag stands for compassion, kindness, liberty, and justice for all.
I regret voting for Trump. You guys told me I would, and here we are, just barely over a month after he was sworn in, and I have so many reasons, so many disappointments.
Sometimes the loudest political lesson in America don't come from speeches. They come from regret, from people looking back and saying, maybe we should have listened. Right now, across the country, some Latino voters who strongly supported Donald Trump are starting to feel frustrated. Not just frustrated, some are saying they actually feel betrayed. And here is the part that makes this interesting. For years, many Black Americans warned that political promises don't always turn into political protection. But a lot of people didn't want to hear that message. Some of those same voters are starting to ask the same question Black Americans have been asking for decades. So the real question is not just about what has happened. The real question is, what lesson is American learning right now? Listen carefully to what these voters are saying in some of the clips I'll be playing for you. Pay attention to the frustration, to the tones, because once you watch those clips, the conversation we are about to have will make a lot of senses. So let's watch.
I regret voting for Trump. You guys told me I would, and here we are, just barely over a month after he was sworn in, and I have so many reasons, so many disappointments, and I've lost so many rights as a woman already. So I guess I'll just start listing the reasons why. So many rights gone as a woman, starting with did I lose rights? I thought I did. See, I was told so many times by the left that I lost all of my rights because I'm a woman. So I thought for sure I did, but now that I'm trying to come up with a list, it's just not coming to the tip of my tongue here. I don't know. Maybe we'll try again after I do some research.
I think I just failed a test. My Latino neighbor, who was one of the few people in my neighborhood to have Trump signs out, just passed by me as I was working in my front yard. And he's always very friendly. He's a very nice guy, very sweet, nice guy. But we've never talked politics, ever, ever, ever. But I think he knows where I stand. He's not on social media, but most of our other neighbors are that he hangs out with. And he compliments me on what a hard worker I am, because I'm always working at my yard and doing projects and whatever. And then surprised me with, man, that guy in office is coming on hard. I never expected him to come on so hard for these people. His people, our people. People. He didn't expect him to come on hard on people. So I said, I did. And that's what's frustrating for us. Those of us who knew, those of us who've known for decades, what he did to those kids in New York calling for the death penalty, we knew. We knew he was cruel and selfish. And the only thing he cares about is money and power. So it's really frustrating for us that other people didn't see it. And we all have to deal with it. So my conventional Anglo-Saxon Midwestern background would have told me to be more gracious, to have grace for him at having awareness that he fucked up. But I didn't. And he just said, well, I didn't see it coming. I didn't expect it. How did you not expect it? How is it that the rest of us saw it, saw the signs, and you didn't? And then he told me to have a nice day. Then he went on to work. Happy Independence Day. Whatever the fuck that means.
The fact that so many Latino men voted for Trump this election is embarrassing and pathetic. Trump won 54% of Latino male voters this election compared to 36% in 2020. This is the same man who ran a campaign on wanting to round up Latinos, is calling for the largest deportation operation in American history, recently had a speaker at his rally call Puerto Rico trash, and wants to end birthright citizenship for the children of undocumented immigrants. Like, do y'all really seek white validation that badly, or does the machismo in you really stop you from voting for a woman?
I am in so much shock with the amount of Latinos for Trump that are now coming out saying we feel so backstabbed, we feel so betrayed, we feel used, now that our families are being deported even though they're not criminals. You didn't feel that way when Donald Trump was talking about the Mexican families that he was going to be deporting. You didn't feel that way when he spoke about other minority groups that he was going to be deporting. But now that it's affecting your family, your uncle, your cousin, now you want to cry about it? Now you want to cry crocodile tears? Girlfriend, I don't feel bad for you.
You told me that you voted for President Trump in 2024. Do you regret that decision? ¿Te arrepientes esa decisión?
Yes, 100%.
Why do you regret that decision?
That's because it's nothing that's true. It's not true. He say he go to catch the delincuentes. Criminals, yeah. And right now, he don't follow to criminals. He go to specific to Latino people. The DHS come specific to me and catch to me, not other people, because don't care to other people, specific Latino people.
I don't know why Latinos are so scared of Donald Trump taking office. I can probably imagine because you think that he's going to deport your mom, your dad, your family members. But in reality, that's going to be really difficult to do. Most likely going to deport criminals or people that are not doing right. But even then, I've had family members that have gone to jail and nothing happens to them. Unless you go to jail multiple times, that's when they're going to kick you out. At least those are my experiences with the people around me that are undocumented. Because usually, like, my family members that are pretty straightforward and, you know, go by the books and everything, that live right, they're still there. Nothing happens to them. No one's asking if they're citizens or not. You know, they just live their life. What's going to happen is he's going to secure the border and there's probably going to be less immigrants coming in, which is a good thing because that's how the country is supposed to be run. You're going to have to go through a legal process. But the people that are already in here, they're most likely going to stay here unless they're committing crimes. But what do you guys think? Do you really think he's going to deport all these illegal immigrants in the United States right now?
I don't want to hear your cries. I don't want to hear your complaining. I don't want to hear your coulda, shoulda, wouldas, because I don't feel no ways tired. I don't want to hear this is not what I voted for. This is exactly what you voted for. That man let you know time and time again that he don't fool up with black and brown people. And it's sad because you yearning so bad to have proximity to whiteness made you turn a blind eye to the disrespect, made you feel like you were bigger than the program, made you feel like all the insults that he spewed against your people didn't apply to you. So now y'all want to act shocked and appalled because he done called the National Guard, everybody and they mama, to scrape you and your family members off the floor of LA. No better for you.
So now I'm seeing all these videos of Mexican Americans crying about how they regret voting for Trump. And honestly, I can't feel bad for you. Because when we told you this would happen, you didn't listen. When it was just theoretical, it was easy to ignore. But now that your undocumented family is at risk, now that your kids are being targeted, or the kids in your circles, now that they're coming for you, now it's a problem. Listen, I get it. I have family who voted for him too, and I won't lie, it makes it very hard to process. It sometimes even makes it hard to talk to them, because how am I supposed to be okay with that? I have undocumented family. I have a trans sibling. Trump's policies directly hurt people I love. So when I see our own people supporting him, it feels like a slap in the face. And I keep asking myself, why? How did this happen? This man called Mexicans rapists. He bragged about deporting families. He made racial profiling and hate cool again. And still, some of you voted for him. And now, reality is hitting. Oklahoma just passed a law requiring parents to prove citizenship to enroll their kids in school. Texas is next. Who do you think they're coming for? Not white, undocumented Europeans, Latinos. And now some of you are shocked? What did you think was going to happen? That they'd make an exception for you? That you're somehow a good immigrant? That Trump actually cared about Latinos? Be serious. I know some of you are going to defend your stance with like, well, my family voted for him because they don't like socialism. They care about small businesses. They're conservative. They're religious. Okay. But at what cost? At the cost of our people being deported? At the cost of our kids being denied education? At the cost of our community being unsafe? And so now you're feeling the consequences and you want us to feel sorry for you. No. I'm saving my sympathy for the people who didn't vote against their own families. It's exhausting. We tried to tell you, but if you voted for Trump and regret it, sit with that, reflect on it, because the rest of us, we saw this coming. Please don't share any hate, not even towards Latinos who voted for Trump. This is just my personal view and my frustration about this entire situation.
So recently they did a focus group where they invited several Latinos. All these Latinos voted for Trump, and they stated that they regret their votes for Trump because of the economy and mass deportations, which was Trump. Trump was really transparent on these particular issues. He'd been running on border security for over half a decade. He'd been running on tariffs and who could use which bathroom and who could play in whose sports. So there's no possible way you could really have voters remorse when Trump was completely transparent. I just find it interesting that this study comes out after Trump took funding from this grant for Hispanics and redirected those funds to HBCUs.
Did y'all hear about the Latino Trump supporters that are devastated about him doing exactly what he said he was going to do?
As a Latino, I've never been more embarrassed and more disappointed in the Latin community for even voting or thinking of voting for Trump. Voting against your own self-interest is counterproductive. It's insane to me. Like, y'all don't make no sense. What's not clicking? And let's be very serious. Latinos voted for Trump because they want to be as close to whiteness as possible. It's because they are anti-Black. It's because of the internalized racism. It's because...
Now that you have watched those clips, let's talk about what is really happening here. Many national voters supported Donald Trump, believing his policy would improve the economy, create jobs, and bring stability. And to be fair, every community in America votes based on what they believe will favor and help their families. That's normal in politics, right? But now, some voters are expressing frustration because the outcome they expected are not exactly what they are experiencing. And that's where political reflection begins. One of the biggest problems in American politics is sometimes very simple. People often vote based on promises instead of pattern. Campaign speeches can sound powerful, campaign slogan can be inspiring, but real political outcomes comes from long-term policies and historical pattern. And that's something Black Americans have been pointing out for a very long time, because historically, Black voters have had to be extremely careful about political promises, because history has shown them that promises don't always equal protection or progress. So over time, many black voters develop a habit of asking deeper questions. Questions like, who benefits from this policy? Who is being protected? Who is being left out? And this is where Black American brings a unique perspective to this conversation. From generations, Black communities have learned to analyze politics through experience, not just speeches. Experiences, they have seen policy that help, they have seen policy that harm, they have seen policy that never became reality. So when some Latino voters now say they feel disappointed or betrayed, Black American hasn't necessarily surprised. Not because they want anyone to struggle, but because they have seen the political cycle many times before. Hope, promises, reality, reflection. Now, here is something that makes some white American watching this curious. What if this moment actually opens the door for something new? What if instead of communities arguing with each other, people start listening to each other? Because if Latino voters are now experiencing political disappointment and Black Americans have already experienced similar moments in the past, then maybe there is an opportunity to learn from each other. Instead of repeating the same mistake, instead of believing the same slogan, instead of trusting the same political strategy, maybe voters across different communities begin asking the same question: who is actually looking out for ordinary people? That question doesn't belong to one race. That question belongs to every American. Because the truth is, political disappointment is not unusual. It happens on the left, it happens on the right, it happens in every community. What matters is what people do after that realization. Do they ignore the lesson or do they become more informed voters? Black Americans have historically chosen the second option. They study policy, they examine voting records, they analyze long-term impact, and that political awareness is something many other communities are now beginning to explore as well. This moment could actually become a powerful learning opportunity for America because when voters from different communities start comparing experiences, they often realize something surprising. Many of the struggles are actually similar: economic pressure, political promises that fall apart, policy that doesn't working always help working families. And when people recognize those shared experience, it change the conversation. So this the main target here isn't just about Latino voters. It's not just about Donald Trump. It's about how Americans learn political lessons. Black Americans learn those lessons through history and experience. Now, some other voters are starting to reflect on their own choices. And that reflection is not weakness, it's part of democracy because the most powerful voters are the ones who keep learning. So, do you think voters across different communities are starting to rethink political promises? Or do you think situations like this happen in every election cycle? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoy real conversation about politics, culture, and deeper stories behind fiery headlines, Make sure you like this video and subscribe, because on this channel, we don't just react to the news, we break down what it actually means, and trust me, the conversation is only getting started.